Shalom Mashpaka. Today I want to talk about some methods that I'm currently using to get included texts that have been excluded from the Bible. And I want to teach of methods of how to acquire these books so you can also read the Apocryphal New Testament. First thing that I would like to note, Mashpaka, is that I am primarily looking for scriptures that include actual apostle names or stories based off of the apostles, because these were the 12 that were charged with going out into the world and teaching all nations. These were the 12 that were amongst Yahuwah. So these will be the ones that you would be looking to for scriptures, teachings, and narrations of their life. First, Mashpaka, when looking up these Apocryphal texts, you're going to need to go and start looking up information of where to find these Apocryphal texts. This is one of the first websites I came across, interfaith.org, world religions /Christianity /Apocrypha. And it has a lot of the apostles' works and scriptures that they have. It's a good starting place. The next place that you would want to go is probably to wikipedia.org, to their New Testament Apocrypha section, and scroll down, and you can read all of the additional Gospels, Acts, Apocalypses, as well as dialogues, texts, stories. They have them all here, and you can click on any of these bullets and they will give you a brief summary description of these texts. It's very important, Mashpaka, that you would follow basically what I'm trying to say, that most of the New Testament is actually false. They have been changed, altered, and included people that are not even biblical figures, and added things such as apostles' creeds to justify them as apostles now, and included them in our Bible that we have today. So the only books that I would read from is from Matthew, John, Revelations, 1 Peter, Jude, and James. Everything else is pseudepigrapha, or false biblical using of names, and are not true gospels. That includes the first Gospels, Mark and Luke. They are not apostles. And they have added descriptions into these books that are different from the New Testament Apocrypha that I'm showing you now. And this will definitely confirm that what I'm saying is pretty much true. So when you're reading these texts that have the names in them, make sure it coincides with the Old Testament and the New Testament as what I'm showing, as well as actually having some sort of attribution to the apostle author. Now, a lot of these scripts are not in Greek. They are in Coptic. They are in Arabic. They are in other languages. But they have already been translated into English for us to read. Now, Mashpaka, after you have collected that list, you will probably want to have a website to allow you to have an archive of these scriptures. I recommend going to Genosis.org to go to their search engine and search up these scripts. Ignore the Gnostic titles and such. These are falsely attributed titles for these scriptures, and any of the other symbolism for the Antichrist, which is Jesus Christ. Ignore those. Don't pay homage to it, but continue moving and know that this library is holding all of these scriptures, and we need to go and find them. Simply type the title that you have copied from these other websites into the search engine, click search, and then the books will come up here. And then you can read the scriptures for yourself. What I highly recommend after you read these scriptures and testify that these are true scriptures, that you are justifying that they are true, You would probably want to keep these books, so I'm going to teach you of how to actually gather collections of these books and keep them forever and store them. The main website that you're going to want to go to is archive.org. When you're on Genosis website, it tells you right here from the Apocryphal books of the New Testament. They tell you where they're getting these scriptures from. Here is another example. After you've collected the title of these names, come to archive.org and search them up. Down here, after you scroll, you can look through the book and see what it has inside of the book. Make sure it copies the exact words. Notice that this version does not have a download section. So I've looked up another book, the same title, the same text, but down here, you can download PDFs of these books and save them. I have a complete collection of all the Hebrew scriptures and the Greek scriptures, the most oldest versions of them, being the Codex Vaticanus New Testament, Old Testament, Westminster Leningrad Codex, Manuscript Sassoon, Aleppo Codex, the original copy. These are all photographic original copies of the original codexes. Westminster Leningrad Codex, Codex Alexandrinus, an Ultimate Interlinear Bible that you can download. They have this all on archive.org. Here is an example of this Ultimate Interlinear Scripture and what it looks like. The entire Bible. Let's get into some Apocryphal texts. This is the Mythological Acts of the Apostles book. As well as here's its contents. This book is from 1904, so you have to be sure of which editions include the contents that you want to have, that you have the right year that it was made, and double check the book after you download it. Here is another book, the Apocryphal Gospels, written in 1867. And here are its contents. I want to talk about the Nag Hammadi codexes. They are a complete volume of a lot of Apocrypha New Testament texts, and they're all in Coptic. And you can download all of these volumes. There are 5 volumes off of archive.org. And here are its contents. Make sure to get the times as well. An authentic book. Next book I would recommend at this point is Christian Apocrypha and Early Christian Literatures. This book can be had on archive.org as well. And here is his entire contents of this book. Moving on, Mashpaka, we have the Gnostic Bible. However, I would omit this title of what it is, because there is no title for what truth these books are called. Omit the ones that are not attributed to the right apostles, and judge correctly with discernment to know which scriptures are true. Finally, Mashpaka, this is one of my last Apocrypha books that I have downloaded so far. Theological Library, School of Theology in Claremont, California. The Apocryphal New Testament is the title, and it is from 1924. These scriptures are not new, Mashpaka. They have been here the whole time. This one has a lot of scripture to it. So, Mashpaka, this is the journey that we are on right now to discover the true New Testament, the true canonized New Testament. And I hope that we can discover what is true. Finally, Mashpaka, I wanted to talk about some of these scriptures. These stories are tremendously different than what you are used to reading. Okay, it speaks of the upbringing, the infancy of Yahuwah HaMashiach. It talks of where he was born, his journey. He went through Egypt and other lands in Yasharal. How he healed and was performing miracles before he was baptized. At the age of when he was born, he was already just naturally gifted, naturally chosen. And there are many books that coincide with these stories. And along his journey of childhood, he met some of the apostles that would soon be in the future be accompanying him. For instance, Mashpaka, Yahuwah was born in a cave in Bethlehem. It has a strict timeline of when he was circumcised, as well as also talking about the wise men. So the story still coincides with Matthew and John. It does not deviate from it. It's just adding on the missing pieces that we've never seen before. The philosophical and faith and teachings that are in this Apocryphal New Testament is totally different from the New Testament that we have today. So I highly recommend you to go and start reading these books because they are tremendous, Mashpaka. Because it says, and Yahuwah said, "Whoever discovers what these sayings means will not taste death." That is all, Mashpaka. Ahava'u Shalom.